Hey everyone, this is a bit of a different type of video. It's already the middle of 2019 and a lot has been happening in the smartphone world because, well, tech moves pretty fast. I'm Angie for GSM Arena and this is my take of the highs and lows of 2019 as well as what I expect is going to happen in the next half year. Okay, so let's start this off on a positive note. Budget phones and mid-rangers have been killing it. They have better displays. I mean, now a bunch of them have AMOLEDs, they have better chipsets, they have better cameras, they have triple camera setups, and okay, let's get back to the point of they have much better cameras than before. First of all, Google launched the Pixel 3a, which is a flagship level camera in a mid-range body. So now you no longer have to choose between, well, I don't really want all the features of a flagship, but man, do I really want that awesome camera. That actually exists. That's actually a product. That's so amazing. And I really hope other manufacturers do this as well, because I'm such a person that would end up buying that phone, or at least definitely recommending it to people. Samsung's A series has also proven to be super competitive this year because they're finally bringing their A game. Okay, I'm sorry about the pun. Unlike the Koreans' mid-rangers from yesteryears, their current A series definitely gives an alternative to the offerings from Xiaomi and Oppo. And as far as flagships go, well, Samsung has been doing really great there too, because I'd say that the S10 lineup is one of the best of this year. Personally, if I were going to buy a phone right now, I'd probably go with the Galaxy S10. Now, that's not saying that there's not a lot of awesome flagships, like the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Sony Xperia 1, both of which were a little bit of a surprise, honestly. If I weren't so fond of the Galaxy S10's size and the headphone jack, I would probably say that the best phone to go with right now is the OnePlus 7 Pro. It just is mind-blowingly fast. It has that amazing 90Hz screen, which I hope the rest of the industry copies. And I like the fact that OnePlus isn't just assembling phones with all the latest trends, but rather it's actually trying to start them. Sony has also released pretty much the best phone I've seen from them in a very long time, and a lot of people have been interested in it because of that. The design is unique, the screen is super cinematic, and I'm actually really glad that they're offering something that looks so different from everything else out there. Of course, the one thing that all these flagships have in common is a triple camera setup, and I'm super happy about it. This is the industry's new trend, and I think it's great for people. It offers so much flexibility, and sometimes you can even capture things with phones that you can't capture with a DSLR, because the moment would be over by the time you took the camera out of your bag. And last, but certainly not least, I got to experience foldable phones, which was super cool. But that brings me straight to the lows of this year. All the foldable prototypes that I got to play around with were just that. They were really fun prototypes that offered a lot of promise. But it became pretty clear pretty quickly that they're not ready for prime time. The Galaxy Fold issue, I mean, I'm really sad about it because now it's much less likely that consumers are going to trust the first generation of foldable phones because the almost first generation has already proven to be very fragile. It also shows that companies need to be a little bit more aggressive with their testing, and definitely in terms of real-world conditions. I have some hopes that they're not too far away, so maybe by the end of this year we will see foldable phones, but honestly I'm not going to hold my breath because there's a lot of issues that they need to fix with them. And that brings me to one of the maybe more controversial points of what I'm going to say. I feel like the smartphone world has become a little bit stale. Yeah, we're seeing huge jumps with chipsets and nice jumps with camera tech. I mean, you can take much better footage now than you could 2 years ago. But aside from under-display fingerprint readers and maybe the pop-up cameras that allow for bezel-less displays, there hasn't been a huge change in how our phones look and what the user experience is. I was really hoping that there would be a new huge development, mostly in those foldable phones that I just mentioned, but that wasn't the case. Now, all of my desire for huge jumps in innovation and huge new features we can take advantage of, well, that's just become way more difficult with the Huawei USA scandal. This is going to put a huge damper on innovation. Huawei has a habit of pushing Samsung by introducing new features and pushing trends like the shiny gradient backs that are now so popular. When companies compete and trade, we win, and when one of the more innovative players is pushed into a corner, we all lose. We're actually already feeling the effect of the scandal because Huawei was going to release a laptop at one of the tech events recently, and they decided to cancel that launch, period, until further notice because, well, they don't feel like they can launch that piece of tech in this current environment. And as a consumer who really likes nice laptops, this makes me super sad. I do think that we need to talk about privacy and about how much tech companies can spy in our daily lives, but I don't think the question ends with Huawei. I think that goes for any phone manufacturer and any social media company. Because honestly, we're the ones that give our personal information to these companies for free. You don't really need spying software for 99% of cases. So I do think that new regulations are needed in our modern world, but maybe with a more nuanced view of everything. And this brings me to expectations. What do I think is actually going to happen? Now, I expect a lot more manufacturers are going to be investing in their own software because they don't want to be left out in the cold like Huawei was by Google. This might mean that we might start seeing less phones with stock Android again, and I really hope that we don't see the return of bloatware. On the other hand, maybe that's also really good because Google is finally going to have some competition. And like I said before, that's a really good thing. That said, this particular expectation is probably a bit further in the future than just the next 6 months. What I do expect for the next half year is that budget phones and mid-rangers will continue killing it. With Realme, Redmi, and increasing pressure from Samsung, we're seeing cheap, powerful, and creative phones. And I'm also very curious about the Redmi K20 Pro. Is it going to be like the Poco phone of last year? Hopefully. Now, as far as the flagship end of the spectrum goes, I don't expect we'll see something very surprising. Apple is going to continue doing their own thing, and they already have a very controversial design of the iPhone 11. I don't know what they're going to call their phone. Hopefully it's 11 because we need something simple. The 10S thing from last time was just, I really wanted to call it an XS or an X. I still do, and it's been 2 years. Also, Apple, aside from fixing their whole naming game, really needs to get rid of that Lightning port because I know they're making billions off that stuff, but it's really unfair to consumers, and it'd be so nice if we just have USB-C everything. But that's not going to happen, at least not for the next round of iPhones. The Google Pixel 4 also has me excited, but it has 2 cameras, not 3. And the missing camera is going to be the ultra-wide one. And I'm super sad because, well, you can make tech zoom into stuff and make it a little bit like CSI where it just clears up the image. That's almost impossible to do for zooming out. I'm expecting another solid offering from Samsung with the Note 10 because they've consistently made good phones as of late, and I'm also hoping that Huawei puts out something mind-blowing. Because after all of this tension, they've lost a lot of consumer trust, and they need to make an incredible Mate 30 Pro in order to convince much of the public, in the West at least, that despite the drama, it's worth buying their phones. I know, this is a bit of a pessimistic take on things, especially at the end of this video. But honestly, I'm hoping that I get proven wrong. I don't want to be right about a mediocre flagship land. I want things to be amazing. I want tech to be surprising because I think that when it is, it can seriously change our lives. Maybe not all of our lives all at once, but definitely bring new experiences. So here's to that, and yeah, I'm hoping that the next half year is amazing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you next time.